All right, everyone, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us. My name is Becca Price, and I'm the Communications Coordinator with the River Management Society. And today it will be, you'll be hearing from myself and from James Major, our National Rivers Project Coordinator. And our goal today is to share some resources with you that have been developed by RMS and our partners and volunteers, members, and just to let you know where to find those, as well as how to connect with experts and folks who have maybe been in your shoes before, so that you know who to reach out to for best practices, examples, and solutions to issues. So thank you so much for joining us. If you have not attended a River Management Roundtable before, we welcome you and thank you for joining us. We host these twice monthly, and we have two different topical tracks. On the second Tuesday of the month, we have our On the River track, so we cover more operational topics, things like user capacity, signage, bathrooms, permits, COVID, kind of a whole range of just day-to-day management topics. And then the fourth Tuesday of the month, we discuss workplace culture issues. So things like diversifying your work team, outreach and inclusion, communication, and things like that. So thanks so much for joining us. You're always welcome. And we appreciate you for being here. Like I said, I'm Becca. I'm James. Do you want to wave? That's James. So you'll be hearing from us today, and James will share a little bit about the National Rivers Project. Just want to encourage you guys as we're here today to please be engaged, ask questions, be respectful. If you have suggestions or things to share, we'd love to hear from you. Just appreciate the input so that you don't have to listen to me maybe the whole time. So we'll spend time today on the RMS website, but before we jump in, I just want to thank the many partners, and this is in no way an exhaustive list, but just to thank the many partners that have been involved in developing resources that we have on our website. So definitely we've had a lot of financial and time contribution from the agencies, American Whitewater, NASBLA, Confluence Research and Consulting, and many, many members, board, and staff of the River Management Society. Whoop, let's go back. So we are going to hop into the RMS website. I'm going to make this big. All right, so we have recently reorganized our website menu, which was kind of part of the impetus of going over some of these resources, because there are lots and lots of resources on our website, and we now think that they're a lot easier to find. But just kind of being in the middle of the season, we're hoping that this will show you exactly where to go to find these. I know most of the folks who registered are already members, so you're probably familiar with RMS, but I'll just give a brief overview of the River Management Society in case you're not familiar, and just a little bit about how we differ from some of the other river organizations out there. RMS actually got its roots in the Interagency Whitewater Committee in 1972, and basically formed as in response to a bunch of different agency folks working on similar issues, managing rivers, but not really having a way to communicate about that and to share solutions and just field questions and things like that. So that's pretty much how we got started. And then over the years, as the river management profession has evolved, and there's just a lot more diverse groups working on rivers. We have a lot of stewardship organizations, conservancies, private organizations, researchers, scientists. There's just a lot of different types of groups that that are involved. And so with that, our membership has diversified as well. Let me stop sharing real quick. Was it showing the website, James, or was it showing my slide?
It was showing your slides still. I'm not seeing the website yet.
I saw that and I was like, that isn't what we want. Okay, here we are. We're on the RMS website. Ta-da! So the mission of RMS is to support professionals who study, protect, and manage North America's rivers. And this is kind of where we differ from all the different river groups out there. We do not do advocacy. We don't write letters to Congress, things like that. We exist to support the people who work on rivers and to support the folks who do that. So the resources that we'll go over today are resources that have been developed for just day-to-day management of rivers, and also are helpful to stewardship organizations and the like. In addition to producing resources, we also facilitate communication between river managers. And just river manager, I know is kind of a catch-all, but there's a lot of different, I'll say river professionals, but just we facilitate communication between all these different types of people who work on and for rivers. Through these roundtables, through our listserv, our membership directory, and training opportunities and river trips. And then I also just want to mention before I forget, our fearless leader, Risa, is on the water today, so she couldn't be here. And then Angie, our River Training Center coordinator, is in the midst of travel, so she is not here either. So James and I will do our best to answer any questions you have, and if we don't know the answer, we will make something up. So / get you the correct answer. All right, so let's jump into some resources. And if you guys have questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. If there's something that I'm touching on, I'll try and go through these quickly, just kind of so you know where they are and can come back to them or bookmark them. And James, if we get questions in the chat, just feel free to interrupt me, or you guys can unmute as well. We're a small group. All right, so under the resources tab, we have tried to lump together different types of resources that fit into a type of category. Some of these are their own webpage and some are like a hub of resources. So planning and management is one of those hub type pages. You'll see the River Management Roundtables on here on multiple pages because we cover such a wide range of topics. I would encourage you always just to kind of check out the topics that we're getting into, suggest a topic that'd be relevant. And we also record these. So in our River Training channel, you can go back and watch all kinds of webinars and discussions on topics that would be relevant. River access planning and design. So this page has 3 different resources on it. And let's see. Let me change how I'm sharing because it's not switching with the page that I go to. Okay. So there's 3 resources on here. The first is called Prepare to Launch. And this was kind of the predecessor guide to all things river access, planning and design. This was kind of the predecessor to the river access planning guide. So there's still a lot of really relevant content in here. There are different ways to access it. And we've held trainings on this in the past. The river access planning guide is the more recent version of this document, basically. And we have trainings on this every year. One thing that's different is this actually comes with worksheets that you can take out into the field and come up with an action plan for developing or improving your river access. So if you work on rivers at all, which everyone pretty much does, this would be relevant for you. And the trainings that we do every year related to this guide are usually, I believe they're free for members, and they're pretty affordable for non-members. So shameless plug, be a member. Then this third resource is called The Good, the Bad, and the Unusual: What Makes a Boating Access Work or Not. This was produced in 2020 by Confluence Research and Consulting. And it's like a huge study of and database of different river accesses across the country. So it's really cool. They have a report that they put together. They have the gallery, and then they have a database. Now, I'll just open the gallery really quickly. I actually reference this a lot when I'm just looking for examples of different, hopefully it will load, of different types of river accesses or slides or parking examples. I think there's like 80 or 90 accesses that they have photo examples of, and they're all categorized by the feature that they share. So I'll give this like 2 more seconds and see if it comes up. All right, so just here you can see, this is just a great thing to reference if you're looking for examples. Really well organized. You can see different types of launches, ramps, accesses with stairs and trails, and just kind of a description about what's unique about each. So super cool resource put together by Confluence. All right, so that's kind of the river access resources. And again, I'll try not to repeat this too many times, but the trainings that we've done on this, some of those are recorded and are in the River Training channel, so you can go back and watch those. We also have a water trails page. So here you will find best practices, tools, example plans, and economic studies. Whether you are in the process of designating a trail or you currently manage a trail, there's a lot of good information here that will support your work. Also, if you do work on water trails and you want to reach out to other people who do, I know we got a Listserv request recently that was pretty much about that. You can always look in the membership directory for water trails people. You can send out a Listserv request if you're a member and ask for examples or ask questions related to water trails there. River visitor use. This is all about user capacity. So obviously when traffic on rivers increases, which it has on many, many rivers, you know, we're now dealing with parking issues, trash issues, capacity, and things like that. So there is a great study here to reference that's really well organized that will kind of give you some direction on that. This is also a topic that we've hosted in the last couple years, particularly. We've hosted a few trainings on this or roundtables. We have one actually coming up on August 9th that is called the Inadvertent Trashing of River Experiences. So that's a topic I'd say we'll continue to visit as we have more and more folks visiting rivers. And then lastly on this page, a guide for multiple use waterway management. If you manage a waterway with lots of different types of users, so you've got, you know, motorboats, non-motorized river craft, tubers, etc., and you kind of have this intersection of all those things. This is a really, really good guide that was developed by NASBLA. That is great to check out. Let's see, James, I'm gonna pass them. Actually, let's see. Let me go through a couple of these, James, and then I'll pass the mic to you. Is that cool?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Our wild and scenic resources page lists a few. There's a lot of stuff on here, and I will just I'll show you this page here. Must know wild and scenic management guide, tips, and tools. So Jackie Diedrich You may know her, you may have heard of her. There's an award named after her. She's a big deal in the wild and scenic world. She helped us to develop this page, and each section is set up the same. This is kind of like the RMS catch-all of wild and scenic information. Obviously, rivers.gov is an excellent resource that we would recommend as well. But this has each section's broken into technical information, online resources, and in-person training related to different facets of the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act and implementation. So that is great and definitely worth checking out. The Partnership Wild and Scenic Rivers Toolkit, if you work on a partnership river or in the process of designating one, this is definitely something to check out, and the network of partnership people are super helpful, as are all of the Wild and Scenic Network and the Wild and Scenic Coalition. You'll just find a lot of great information here. There's 3 pages to this toolkit, and there is everything you might possibly want to know, including examples of partnership river know-how is here, as well as contacts for more information. The RMS Training Calendar, this is our events calendar. We'll kind of touch on that, but we have stuff going on all the time. So that's where you'll find it. Wild and Scenic webinars, like I mentioned, the River Training Channel. We have a Wild and Scenic series that we hosted. It's a 6-part series we hosted January through June this year and last year. Those are recorded and in there, as well as several other Wild and Scenic webinars. And if you want to request a training for your river, whether it's Wild and Scenic or it's not Wild and Scenic, you can request a training through the River Training Center. And I will get you Angie's info if that's something that interests you all. Wild and Scenic water quality data sets. This is something that Adventure Scientists puts together. It's a growing database of wild and scenic river data. It's really awesome. You can request a whole data set on water quality for various rivers. They're also seeking volunteers, so if you want to go measure water quality, those are the people to do it with. The Wild and Scenic Coalition is an awesome group of wild and scenic experts. They have a website that is very helpful, so we have their link here. And then we also have the link to rivers.gov, which is the National Wild and Scenic River System website. Let's see. Hydropower summaries is something that RMS has been working on for several years. We have volunteers work on this, and basically rivers that are controlled by dams, you all probably know this, but they have flow release. They have these huge reports that are really long. And so what we do is condense that report into something that's a lot more digestible. And we have links to these for many different rivers. Resources for students. I know we have a couple of university folks on here. I don't think they're any of our RSLC schools, but I'll just touch on this really quickly. This is relevant if you are a professor, a student, or if you work in an area where you would really like to have a partnership with a university where you have students who graduate ready to enter the river management field and kind of fill those roles that are opening up in your office. This certificate is something that we offer with partner universities, and basically what we do is we have a framework of courses that qualify for their certificate, and a student will sign up to be in the program, and then once they meet the course requirements and they meet the oral or written presentation requirement, then they're awarded the certificate. And it's just kind of a way to ensure that a student has had field experience and in a really diverse interdisciplinary background in river studies. So it's a really awesome program, and we have several new schools that are in the process of joining that now. So if you're interested in that, Angie Furman, the River Training Center coordinator, is the best contact for that. Or you can just bookmark this webpage. RMS has a job board where we basically took all of the jobs that our members do, and all those jobs, we filter for those job titles, basically. So all of the jobs that would be relevant to our members get pulled in to this search. If you are an employer, you can also post jobs here. River Training Channel, we had a series last year. We're planning a series this year for students that basically introduces them to river careers. So just kind of what to expect, how to apply for a federal job. Many of you know that's pretty daunting. So we'll go over all of those kinds of things. Equitable workspaces. So the RMS, some members of the RMS staff volunteer with a collaborative that is called the Antidiscrimination and Sexual Harassment Collaborative. It's basically a group of river professionals, current and former river guides, and trainers who have kind of banded together, really in response to the Grand Canyon report that came out a few years ago about sexual harassment. Kind of a conversation started at the America Outdoors Conference about what we could do from the river community. And this was born from that. And the link there will take you to the website for ADASH. I guess I'll open it up real quick because it looks cool. But there's a video that basically describes it. If you would like to work with river people and trainers who have built a curriculum around sexual harassment and discrimination in the river community, these are your people. So highly recommend them. I'm involved with them, so, you know, shameless plug again, but they're pretty awesome. So like I said, we have on the fourth Tuesday of the month, our roundtables focus on workplace culture. So we have recordings from some of those past roundtables. And you can also go to the River Management Roundtable webpage to see what's coming up. And then we just added this. One of our members offers adaptive outdoor rec training courses. So those are pretty neat if that's something that you are interested in. Really great courses. I'll show you the River Training channel real quick. We try to categorize videos into groups so that they are easier to find. But so you can see here, there's a whole cluster of wild and scenic videos. You can load more. We've got past river management roundtables, several river access videos. We've got student videos. So just a wide variety of different types of webinars and workshops that we've hosted. All right. Let's see. All right. The RMS Journal is a quarterly magazine produced by RMS. Members receive a print copy of this. Most members receive a print copy, but if you are a part of an organizational membership, the whole organization gets one print copy. But anyway, we basically focus on a region of the U.S. And we choose those regions based on our chapters. And we have a bunch of different articles about current issues and projects, solutions, and then also RMS news in there. And you can always find the current link on our webpage on the right here. And if you are a member, you can log in and go to archives, and you can check out past issues of the journal as well. Let's see. This past year, I mentioned the Listserv. We had a request on the listserv for examples of river maps, and we got like tons and tons of examples. So we built this web page and kind of just tried to conglomerate a lot of those different types of maps. So if you need examples of maps, there are several here. And in a second, I'll show you guys how to use the listserv archives as well, because you can, most questions, well, maybe not most, but a lot of questions that folks ask in the listserv have been asked before, and a lot of the solutions are still relevant. So you can go back in the archives and search like examples of river maps or examples of toilets in remote places, or you know, whatever you're trying to figure out. River permits. These were recently updated by our former president, Linda Jalbert. She's awesome. Basically, there's just current info about all the river permits, or all the rivers that require permits. So again, kind of like the hydropower summaries, just trying to conglomerate all that info into one place. Safety signage. There are signs here that you can download and use. We have vector files so that you can blow these up really large and they will retain their quality. But there's kind of some just generic types of signs that would work on any river. And then if you want to have these customized, I think we can still customize them. They were designed a few years ago for the South Platte River, and kind of, so there's like a map that goes along with it. And I think the idea was we can modify the files for it to fit with your river, but don't quote me on that. Risa would be the expert on that. But for sure, the signs can be downloaded and used if you are looking for safety signage. Odor bathroom beta. This was developed a few years back. It's basically a guide for packing out human waste. So everybody's favorite topic. A lot of info there. We have, that is a great topic as well for the listserv archives to check out. You know, the solutions are similar on a lot of different rivers. Somebody has encountered the issue before. So yeah, definitely have members who can advise on that if you don't find what you're looking for in that guide. All right, lastly, reference links. Lots and lots and lots of different relevant river links. So that is a helpful page as well. All right. Any questions on that stuff so far before I hand it off to James to touch on the National Rivers Project? All right, thanks for the head nod, Seth. Okay. I'm going to pull up the National Rivers Project, and I would say bookmark this page. The site is awesome, the resource is awesome, and James works really hard to continuously update the database and the map. So without further ado, James Major, our National Rivers Project Coordinator.
Thanks, Becca. Yes, so the National Rivers Recreation Database, so we work closely with federal, state, local agencies, other nonprofits and NGOs to create this geospatial portfolio of information on boatable river segments. And it includes, but it's not limited to, wild and scenic rivers, water trails, and whitewater rivers, which were the original focus, but now, you know, pretty much any river that's floatable, we're interested in getting added to the database. And the database is accessed through the National Rivers Project website, which is what you see here on the screen. But you can also get to the website through the RMS resource drop-down menu there. So this is the website helps identify, explore, and plan trips on rivers within the database. And together, comprehensive river management recreation information is provided for paddlers and resource managers. So we have over 2,000 river segments, 14,000 access points, and 700 campgrounds that can be browsed using the Explorer map. And it can be filtered by attributes that are important to river recreation users. On the right, like wild and scenic rivers, you can identify those, or if you are definitely someone who wants to go on an easy trip, you can do it by a level of expertise, beginner, expert, intermediate. And then resources like, is there camping, is there fishing, what type of access is it for the different access points, what kind of boat ramps. But so, for example, for each of the river segments, we have 26 attributes that we collect, and they include things like trip length, difficulty rating, managing entities, fishing, camping availability, permitting information, links to the permit sites, and many others. But several of the ones that are really important and special interest to managers, and where cooperation with local river managers is especially important, are the river description, the regulations, and links to local websites. Becca, you'll pull up the Middle James there. You can see we have a fairly extensive description of the river, and we determined that it's a really good way to work with river managers to get vital information out to people that they really want them to know, like first off, when they're looking at a river. An example of this here is mostly just a description of the river, but we're trying to work in more with river managers on things like, for example, where Risa is this week, she's on the Missouri River, and we're working with the Montana BLM folks. And what they would like to do is have people not call them when they see a cow in the river, for instance, because they recognize that this is a mixed use BLM land. And so that's something that they might want added in there, that, you know, this is a mixed use recreational corridor. You may see cows in the river, don't call us. But any sort of information, any sort of like dangers, hazards, regulations. So regulations attribute column is a great place to get out other important information, and all that will pop up on this site. Another crucial one is that we provide for links. So we're doing a 10,000 foot view of a trip planning, but we want to link people to the people that can really help you plan your trip at a more localized detail. And so, for example, the Middle James River, we link directly to the James River Association website, and also to the Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation, which is pretty cool. And this is one of our featured rivers. We have a rotating cast of 9 featured rivers, which is a great way to touch base with river managers from time to time, make sure everything's still accurate, make sure everything's updated. And also at the bottom of that page, we also had, at the very bottom of that main page, we have a link to a Google form where you can contact us and contribute rivers. With any sort of big data, there will be things that are missing, things that are wrong now that used to be right. So we encourage people to take a look at their rivers that they manage or they work on, see if they need updates or if they need to be added. And if they want that to be done, then what we do is we have a whole spreadsheet and geospatial stuff that I work on to get to them, and I'll collect as much data as I can from available sources, and then send that over to managing folks to fill in any blanks that I couldn't find, or to add any information that they really want out there. So that's a really cool thing, and you can search by, if you click on the river directory there, you can search by what state the rivers are in, access points, campgrounds, but also by a federal agency. So you can see, you can click to see what the BLM rivers are, National Park Service, Forest Service, U.S. Fish and Wildlife there. So it's a cool page, worth looking around. Appreciate any additions, suggestions for that, and we like to keep that growing. It's one of these projects that a resource that will never be fully complete. It just can't be. You know, you can get every river maybe someday that's votable, but access points will be closed due to flooding, fires, things like that. Things will always have to be updated and changed. So welcome any additions there. I also want to add in real quick with students is we might have a couple of professors or affiliated folks. This is a good resource for data for students as well. For example, we had a doctoral student from Clemson who's doing a recreational project reach out to see if he could get some of our data from our database and wanted access points. And so as simple reaching out to me and asking for data, he gets many hundreds of access points in the state of Georgia, which was of interest to him and a database for him to work with. And so and he's now a member and participates, and it's great to see the students join. And I originally came from a River Studies and Leadership Certificate program in Northern Arizona. So also a good way to network with other river interested people that are interested in being professionals. All right. And
Thanks, James.
yeah, do we have any questions? Oh, great. Yeah. Would love to add. As you can see, there's lots of room for additions. Currently, we're working with the BLM out west, so we're hoping that our western rivers will be a lot more represented over the coming next couple of years. As that works out, we're working with the wild and scenic rivers first, and then we're working on adding all the other BLM managed non-wild and scenic in the second wave. So that's sort of what's on the plate right now, along with reaching out with other folks. We work with the Ohio River Basin folks. We're trying to get some of that filled in that's not yet there. For me, like beginning talks with people in the Pimlico region of Eastern North Carolina, where you can see we have a gap. So we're always interested in working with folks and getting stuff added and filling out our map.
Noah, did you have a question?
Yeah, hi, James. I was wondering if I know it'd be a whole nother layer to add to your maps, but as far as considering adding maybe rivers that have had suitability and eligibility studies completed for wild and scenic status, basically, that are just, that process has been done as far as a layer to just add. Has that been discussed or something you're going to work on, or?
That's probably not in our scope. We've pretty much limited our scope to current wild and scenic, and we'll flip that designation as they're added. But as for like putting the NRI rivers on, for example, it's difficult. It can, it can be difficult because when they're found eligible, they're not always on the NRI. They might be eligible through the Forest Service plan, on a national forest, but not on the NRI, but then found eligible. So we really haven't, I don't think we're going to mess with that now. But thanks. We definitely keep an eye on what's going on in the wild and scenic world, though. It's important to us.
I was just pulling up the Nolichucky because I know it was eligible, but I was just seeing if that's something that could be in a description or something. But of course,
it's definitely something if river managers wanted to, that as part of the description of the river that it's eligible for designation, certainly the case in some of the descriptions. So the BLM, a lot of times I will just like copy and paste and the BLM description before I send it to them for them to make any adjustments to. But they do have just in the description. So like the Gila River, like the middle box or the Gila box that I've been working on recently, that does include in their description that is eligible. So that is included if it's something that's through the description, but it's not a layer that we've built or will build per se.
Any other questions on the National Rivers Project or the National River Recreation Database? Okay, cool. Well, thanks, James, and I hope to hear from you all on that if there's anything we can add or update. But yeah, that's just an awesome resource to share with visitors, especially I I know folks have used it like if there's a really heavily used section of a river, but there are great sections upstream or downstream, that's a great place to say, hey, check this out. You can kind of, see what's up or downstream from there. So a couple other things we will touch on are, so we've kind of been through some of the more like tangible resources on our website. There are some that are for members only, and I'll kind of touch on those, but something that members and non-members can all access on the website are the resources under training and events. So a big component of what we do is offering training, workshops, workshops on the river, virtual workshops, and then we also have our, every other year we host our Symposium. And so we have that coming up. But that's a huge component of what we do. We have a staff of 4, and Angie's whole job is coordinating training. So,
Becca?
Yeah.
Can I just say that, yeah, she does a great job of like collecting a lot of like really knowledgeable river folks to give these trainings. It's really cool what she does with that.
Yeah, that is an important thing to mention is who is teaching these classes. It's so we have an instructor cadre, and we have different people who have lots and lots of experience, who are really subject matter experts, teaching these workshops and giving these presentations. So if that's something you're interested in, please reach out to Angie. Also, if you want to request a training, reach out to Angie. But yeah, on our website on the right, you'll see the events calendar on the right side, and then also you can go to the whole calendar and see what we have coming up. There are chapter trips. I think we have a couple more this year, but you do not have to be a member to go on those. And I'll just show you real quick. I'm going to not go on a huge tangent, but I'll just show you our chapter map. So each chapter has a trip coordinator and hosts trips. We're kind of just getting back on the wagon with that after COVID. So lots of trips this year that have been a lot of fun. But you do not have to be a member to go to those, and it's a really awesome opportunity to network. We just had a huge trip with like 50 people on the Klamath River with our new Pacific chapter leaders, and was just a really impactful trip. They're about to have the largest dam removal in history there, and so pretty cool to have almost all of the players involved with that on the river together. So on the River Training Center webpage, you'll find contact information for Angie, a little graphic about the training center and the different kind of topics that we teach, as well as upcoming training opportunities, which again, those are in the calendar as well. So, oh, we already went to this. Sorry, let me go back. River Management Roundtables, they have their own webpage, but they're also in the events calendar. That's kind of like the king of all events stuff. But you'll see here what we have coming up, and you can register for those. You can suggest a topic. Let's see. I got to mention the Symposium. It's a huge, big deal. It's a ton of fun. We usually have around 300 people there. And we have session presentations, we have poster presentations, roundtable discussions, and field trips. And it's just I've already kind of explained who our members are, but just a really diverse audience of different people who work on and for rivers. So this year our theme is Reimagine River Access. We will be in San Antonio, and we'll be talking about the physical, economic, and social aspects of river management. Shameless plug for presenters. Our request for proposals is open. Proposals are due September 30th. We'd love to hear from you all. I see a lot of familiar names, and I know you guys are several of you experts in your fields. So we'd love for you to be involved with that. Sponsorship opportunities are now published, so if you or folks you know might like to sponsor the event, we would love to have you. Registration is not yet open, but it will be. So go ahead and save the date, February 28th to March 2nd. The other, yeah.
Sorry, just I want to throw in a plug for the students or for academics real quick too. The last in-person symposium we had practice for students that came to do interviews and things like that, so they get experience doing interviews with river professionals. I believe we're doing that again, Becca. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think Kara Campbell is going to be planning a bunch of fun things for students to network. So it'll be like a little more robust actually than what we've done in the past.
Cool. It's just it was a great experience as a student, and I think it's a great thing. You know, bring a poster, do a presentation. It's a good experience for students and good networking for talking to river folks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, James. And then this isn't exactly a resource, but again, awesome networking opportunity, kind of like the pinnacle of our on the water trips, is the River Ranger Rendezvous. This has gone on for maybe like 10 years. This year we will be on the San Juan. If you are a River Ranger or you work with River Rangers, registration just opened today. So please share the link and encourage people to come on out to that. It'll be 3 days of learning together and really just targeted at River Rangers and collaborating on the things that they have in common. I guess the last thing that I will touch on, and just try and be mindful of time, is a couple of things that are for members. Membership to RMS is really affordable and super worth it. You get connected to a network of over 500 river professionals. You can read more about it on our join page here. I'll spare you the commercial, but I'll just show you a couple of ways that as a member you can communicate with other members. So we have, when you are logged into your member profile, you can browse or search the directory, and that is super helpful if you want to connect with people. You can also go to the Listserv and you can post a message there. The Listserv is by subscription, so you can subscribe or you can unsubscribe to that as a member. I'll show some of just like recent inquiries people have sent out. So you can post a new message, or you can look up past messages or inquiries that people have posted. So that is really helpful. Uh-oh, my dog's about to bark. And then, like I said, also, hold on just a minute. Okay, sorry. We also have RMS Journal archives and News Digest archives. And then we just saw where you can search the Listserv as well. Just a reminder, if you are a member, you get discounts on deals. So if you have already blown out your shoes or need a new PFD or whatever you need, you get deals with a bunch of different vendors. So don't forget to take advantage of that. I think that's kind of most of the resources, how to contact people, and things that we wanted to go over. Do you all have any questions on any of that? All right. right. I also want to ask, let's see, let's stop sharing. And also wanted to ask, do you all have resources that you bookmark, that you go to frequently, that are really helpful to you, that maybe we don't have linked on our site, or that would be helpful for other people? If you do, feel free to unmute yourself or drop it in the chat. Okay, somebody shared one here. Let's see. Noah, do you want to comment on the?
Sure. So dreamflows.com is basically a clearinghouse website that was created by Chris Shackleton, and he basically links all the gauges, various gauges out there for water flows, and it has color coded whether or not it's a good flow or not. He also posts the schedule, so as far as when there's license agreements for releases, that's on there, and then also links to American Whitewater and different guides, online guides. So it's a great resource, and it has most of the rivers across the western United States, I think, on there.
That is very cool. I haven't been on here before. Thanks for sharing that. I'll make a note about that one. Any others that y'all would like to share? Wow, great. We covered all the good resources. That's a relief. So, all right. Any other questions, comments? All right, I'm going to, oh wait, let's see, maybe we got another one. Oh, thanks, Lilia. I'm dropping a link in the chat to a survey. We would love your feedback on this roundtable. Also, if you'd like to suggest let me do this, Angie at rivermanagement.org. We have a planning committee for the roundtables that meet and discuss, what's relevant right now, what should we be discussing. We can try to guess what would be relevant for you, but it'd be better to hear from you all. I know we had several suggestions about climate change and fire-related issues, so those are some things that are in the works. But even if it's not something you want to present about, if there's a topic you'd like to suggest, I dropped Angie's email in the chat, training@river-management.org. And up next, the next two roundtables we have coming up are about the history of racism and the effect of Black participation rates in water-based outdoor recreation. So super interesting topic. If you're ever looking out at your river and wondering why the user group is so homogenous, this is going to be a very informative session about that. And just kind of learning where do we go from there. And then we'll also, I mentioned this one earlier, have a roundtable on August 9th about the inadvertent trashing of river experiences. So we had a recent training about user capacity, and this was kind of a follow-up to that. And I will put in the chat, let's see, I've got the links to those. If you don't want to dig through all the links I just dropped in the chat, you pretty much are the expert on our website now, so you know where to go. Talk about the River Training Channel. We're going to post a recording from this roundtable there. and we will send it out. And then, like I said, you can go there to find past recordings. This stuff's like irrelevant. You guys already know this stuff. River Training Center webpage. That's where you have our River Training Center info. And on that note, if there are no further questions, comments, suggestions, just want to thank you all for coming. Here are our email addresses. You guys can reach out to us and say hey, ask a question. We'd love to hear from you. All right. Thank you, guys.